now we're going to talk about some of the new findings. Kidney cancer. Kidney cancer hit the plenary session this year at ASCO. So for those kidney doctors or for the nephro-oncologists, there was plenty to talk about. So the CARMENA study was in the plenary, asking the question of what is the role of cytoreductive nephrectomy in metastatic renal cell carcinoma. So this was a study from a French group. We've been doing cytoreductive nephrectomy in patients with metastatic kidney cancer for several years now based on old data. The question essentially was how useful, how much benefit are patients gaining from doing this surgery when you're looking at the era of new drugs, new TKIs, even now new immuno-oncology agents, although that wasn't an option at the stage of development of this trial. But essentially, re-asking this question, should we still really be doing cytoreductive nephrectomy in patients with metastatic kidney cancer? So the trial was designed in a simple way, easy to understand. One group patients received sunitinib straight off the bat. The other group got a cytoreductive nephrectomy, and then after recovery from the surgery, started receiving sunitinib. And these were the data, essentially showing that there was no survival benefit for doing the cytoreductive nephrectomy. And essentially, the authors of the study, their conclusion was this is the end of the era of cytoreductive nephrectomy for patients with metastatic kidney cancer. But not quite so fast, some may argue. There's a bit of controversy now. And at the same time as that was published, there was an editorial by Bob Motzer and Paul Russo in New England Journal. And they say, well, I'm not sure. I think some patients still deserve to have a nephrectomy. It may prolong their survival. So what is Bob Motzer and Paul Russo's critiques of CARMENA? First of all, they noted that there was very slow and incomplete enrollment. Only 450 out of the 576 planned patients were enrolled onto the trial. So this was a very slow enrollment, very gradual, and it's a sign that they suggest was that intermediate risk patients were not recruited and instead were sent for surgery. They say at Memorial, and even at MD Anderson as well, similar numbers, but at Memorial they do 24 cytoreductive nephrectomies every year when they're only operating on intermediate risk patients. So their question to these authors, why were there so few numbers of patients that were enrolled onto this trial? They're questioning the fact that perhaps surgeons in some of these centers were selecting the patients with intermediate risk patients and were operating on them anyway off trial. And so ultimately the patients that were ending up on the trial were the poorer quality or the more advanced patients. So also you can see here, so there was also the groups in the study were not well balanced. The nephrectomy group had more T3, T4 tumors than the sunitinib group alone, 70% versus 51%. And then there was also contamination across the groups. So in the nephrectomy group, 17% didn't even receive sunitinib, and 7% didn't even get the nephrectomy, even though they were supposed to get the nephrectomy. And in the sunitinib group, 5% never even got the sunitinib, and 17% of patients who were never supposed to get a nephrectomy ultimately ended up having a nephrectomy. So the bottom line is that there's a lot of contamination movement between the groups, suggesting that we may not be able to completely rely on the results and the conclusions. So their conclusion is that there are still some patients with careful patient selection, intermediate risk, that may still benefit from this surgery. I think we're going to hear a lot of discussion, a lot of picking apart of all these different types of things within the trial. We're going to hear a lot of this debate over the next 6 to 12 months.